Brendan, hi, welcome to Celtic, welcome back.
Yeah.
What's your overriding emotion at being, once again, the Celtic manager?
Well, very proud and obviously really happy to be here. Obviously a massive thank you to Dermot and the board for taking me back, and yeah, just everything feels so natural, and yeah, I'm really pleased.
You were hugely successful in your first spell as manager here, invincible, double treble winners. You won all 7 domestic trophies put in front of you. How much did those memories and those successes and moments fuel your desire to take us forward again?
Yeah, there was 2 factors really. The first thing was that when I came the first time, and like we know, I'm here to win. So the nostalgia is great, but it's the past, and I think that hopefully from that period, what we achieved is set in concrete, and it will always be there. But I'm here again to win and look forward and continue with that mentality, and look to see if we can also do something in Europe. But there's no doubt the happiness of being here played a huge part, both professionally and personally. You know, from a football perspective, we achieved and created history whilst I was here, and the aim will be to continue with that mentality going forward. But also outside of the field, my family and everyone associated with me had great happiness of their time here. So that made it pretty straightforward in terms of wanting to come back. Our life outside of football was incredible, and Scotland and Glasgow was amazing for us. So yeah, so from a professional perspective and from a personal perspective, it was, you know, there was real happiness for us to come back.
Celtic, of course, is currently in a great place, treble winners again, and great optimism and expectation for the future. A bit of an unusual position then for a new manager to come into, usually required because the club's perhaps in a difficult position, needs a total rebuild, but solid foundations are in place here. You clearly, though, see a challenge that excites you and that will excite the fans. So where do you feel you can take us on the next leg of our upward journey?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It'll be the first job that I've come into where the team and club is on a high. I think when I've gone into previous roles, it's been different situations. So I think Andrew's done a fantastic job here over the last couple of years, culminating and finishing with a treble. So a fantastic achievement. What you have is you've got a young, hungry squad who, if you keep that mentality, then they can continue to achieve. And I think Europe is always a big factor for this club. Can we develop the team to do something in Europe? So domestically is always important. That's your bread and butter. So being dominant here in Scotland, but of course transferring that into Europe and see if we can achieve something in there.
So what can fans expect to see on the pitch from a Brendan Rodgers Celtic team this time around?
Well, I think what my commitment has always been is to attacking aggressive football. I think in my last time here we were able to achieve that, especially playing so many games. So I think my commitment is always to be an attacking team, to be an aggressive team, and to be a winning team. And that's always the promise I make.
In terms of the current squad, there's a few familiar faces, but not many. What's your initial thoughts on the quality of the squad and the players that you now have in your charge?
Yeah, well, that was a big part of the coming back. Was to, when I look at the squad, you've really virtually only got Callum, who's been here from my time before. Jamesy Forrest has been a fantastic servant for the club and is currently still here. Scott Bain within the goalkeeping section, but not too many others. So, and that's exciting because we can hopefully develop those. There's a lot of young players that can improve and develop, and with direction and with the mentality they can continue to achieve. So yeah, so it's looking to develop each individual player to maximise their career, and then obviously make that team and that team spirit important in order to win and achieve trophies.
You're just in the door, and your message was, let's get to work, and you've already brought a new player to the club in Odin Thiago Holm. Tell us a little bit about him and what his qualities are.
Well, I think the one thing I'll start by saying is I think the recruitment team, when Michael took me through the structure of the club and where it was at from when I was here, I can see a clear change in that infrastructure and the sort of team behind the football team. Mark has done a brilliant job with the recruitment, so you see the markets that the club are operating in, and he's done a great job on bringing in the players that fit into the profile of Celtic. And Odin is one of those players. You know, I like his technical quality. He's dynamic, he's young, he's hungry, but he's also got speed. And I've had the chance to meet him already. I met him on Monday, had a good chat with him, and yeah, he's very determined to do well at a big club like Celtic.
You've mentioned him already, but one player you know really well, of course, is Callum McGregor. You played a huge part in his development to being the great leader that he now is. How pivotal will he be to your squad?
Well, he was pivotal back then, just seeing a young player develop his personality and bring that personality to be a very important player for Celtic. And obviously seeing him when I've left, continued to make that growth has been really pleasing. And I have to say he was a big part of my decision coming back as well, because I had a lunch with him for a few hours in Mallorca, and just understanding the squad and where it was at and where he felt the club was at. And he gave me some great feedback that the group was hungry, it was young, it was ready to keep pushing forward. And for me, he's an absolute brilliant player on the pitch. His brain, his view of the game is right up there with the very, very best I've ever worked with. And he's robust, he plays many games, he's an ultimate professional.
Let me ask you about your assistant, John Kennedy, a man you know extremely well. How important will John be to you, and how pleased are you to have him as your assistant manager, and also the services of Stevie Woods, Gavin and Harry?
Yeah, well, obviously John and Stevie I know very, very well. John was and has been a great servant for the club, but he was brilliant in my time here, and that was one of the first things I spoke about, was to try and ensure that we could ensure that John was here. So we had a few long chats, we worked well together, and obviously when he spoke to the club as well, he was very happy to stay. So I'm delighted with that, because he's a brilliant professional, John. He's very thorough, he knows the game well, and very honest guy, and very loyal and very hard-working, and absolutely delighted that he stayed. Woodsy as well. Stevie's fantastic goalkeeping coach. You see that every goalkeeper he works with, he makes them better. And so both those guys I've worked with in the past, and very happy that they're still here. Gavin and Harry I obviously don't know so well, but they've clearly done a very good job with the other coaching team, and I'm always happy to work with good people.
The players will be back soon, and then you'll be jetting off to Japan and South Korea for pre-season games. How much are you looking forward to that, and how important will that be for you and your new squad?
Yeah, very. I think that the good fortune now is that with Champions League qualification made and no qualification games, it gives you the chance to take Celtic as the brand around the world. And it's always that balance between working well, working hard, and but also taking Celtic out there around the world. So to be able to go there, I've never been to Japan or Korea, so I'm really looking forward to going there. And of course, the young Japanese players have been sensational since they've been here. So it's a nice thank you for them to go to their countries, and yeah, we'll look forward to the games and the work when we're there.
I know you like to learn new languages. Will Japanese and Korean be on your list now?
I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to speak those, but football language is universal, and when I've seen those guys play, they won't need too much of my lingo in there.
You've mentioned it already, but my final question is about the Champions League. You know, competitive football begins soon, huge matches domestically. Champions League, you must be looking forward to having no qualifiers, because you've experienced how difficult they can be at the start of a season. It gives you more time to prepare for what will be some fantastic matches at the highest level.
Yeah, I think that we need to get the base of our work in over the course of pre-season. Obviously the league will start, and then very quickly you're into the Champions League. So, but it's a really exciting time for the club. Those games, my experiences of those when I was here before were incredible, the atmospheres. And we want to see if we can make an impact in Europe, and of course it's always a challenge now at the very highest level, but we want to go in there and see if we can progress and show our sort of good side at Champions League level or whatever competition we end up in. So, but no, Champions League it will be really exciting.
Well, Brendan, great to talk to you once again, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.